Hello, and welcome to Health 106. I hope you have had a nice and restful break and are ready to come back to school. I'm looking forward to working with you. My name is Nadine Wade Gravitt, and I will be your instructor for the next 17, 18 weeks. I'm looking forward to working with you. And my intention with this video is to take the place of an in-person orientation. So I'm going to just walk you through what my expectations are and of this class and what my expectations are of you. So I will be switching back and forth, and as you can see, this is my first attempt in our recording studio here at Napa Valley College. And I just want to thank Choey straight off the bat. He's our expert in getting me set up in this. So hopefully you'll find this helpful. And again, my intent is to guide you through what our expectations are. As we start the class, it's imperative that you have the textbook, and you will find that either online, but make sure that you get the 10th edition, or you may find it obviously in our college bookstore. We also have rental capabilities, and they will give you that information in our college bookstore. So that's a reasonable way to go through this textbook. So our approach for this class is, although it's not an in-person, I'm trying to make it as interactive as possible. So you will have some assignments that will require you to interact with other students, your classmates, and I hope you take that part seriously, because that is in my mind, the one problem with an online class is that we miss that day-to-day interaction with our fellow classmates. So I have set up some exercises so that that will hopefully be facilitated through the discussion board sections. So I've tried to make it clear each assignment that I give to you and the design of the course. My encouragement for you in online is that you try and stay on top of the assignments. You will have weekly assignments that will be due, and I really encourage you to set up a time frame where it's a question of time management, so that you set up a time that you are free and that you can dedicate and devote to the class. All assignments will be due at midnight on Saturday night, so that gives you from Sunday to Saturday night to do the assignments. And unfortunately, I we'll often see students that are submitting their homework on 11:59 on Saturday night, and you're just not going to be doing your best work if you do that. So I encourage you to set aside a time and to focus with your assignments during that time frame. So let me introduce myself again. My name is Nadine, and my office, if you choose to meet with me, is in the 600 building, and you can reach me also through my college email, which is ngravett@napavalley.edu, and you'll find that on the website as well. And I encourage you, if you have any questions, or particularly if you have any kind of technical errors, sometimes computers do fail, I know that, and you run into a problem, or you're taking the test and all of a sudden everything blacks out, or last year we had a power outage during the test when one of the students was taking a test. So you can communicate to me via the college email, or you can use the Blackboard email. I do look at both on a day-to-day basis, so I encourage you to do that. So my office, again, is in the Physical Education Building, and you will find me there most every day. And if you need to set up an appointment, please feel free to do that, and I'll be happy to meet with you. The sooner the better, particularly if you're running into any kind of problems. Just a little bit about myself. I've been teaching at the college for almost over 30 years, and I've been teaching the online section now for about 7-8 years. So I'm getting more and more comfortable. You technically are probably much more comfortable with the technology than I am, but I'm working my way through it. Just so you know a little bit about me, because you're going to be asked to turn in a little bit of a biography about yourself on the first assignment. As I said, I've been here for about 30 years. Most of my teaching emphasis is in health, and I also teach some physical education, weight training classes, and I assist administratively with our dean. I live here in Napa, and have lived here for the last 20 years, and am married and have 2 children. One is actually in the studio here right now trying to make me laugh, and I'm very happy living here in Napa. You know, of course, when we look around at the surroundings, it's a wonderful, beautiful place to live. And I certainly care a lot about the subject matter that I teach. I try and live and breathe in a healthy lifestyle. And you might find me at In-N-Out Burger as well. So just to let you know that I work really hard on balance. And that's what I'm going to encourage you this semester, to challenge your approach to health and all aspects of health. And challenge yourself to look at what you can do differently. And you're going to have some opportunities to challenge that and to look at that. So let's get to the actual course itself. If you've logged on already, because you're watching this video, you already know how to log on, and hopefully you got my email that instructed you how to do that. When you log into your class, it should look like this, and I tried to give you as much information as I could. This is the first part here is just a general introduction. One of the things I want to encourage you to look at is this web that is provided to you from the publisher of our text. And if I pull up here, you can see that you have all kinds of study aids that are provided for you. There's chapter outlines, there's practical quizzes, all kinds of things crossword puzzles, all kinds of things that are designed to help you increase your knowledge in as we go through each chapter. So I would encourage you to hook on to that link. Again, these are great, this first introduction is just primarily what I am going to be talking about. One of the primary areas that you should be focused on are the learning modules. And if you click onto the learning modules, you'll find each week's assignments listed, and you just click onto the week's assignments, and all of the assignments are listed and have an introduction and have an assignment aspect to it. And then you also have a submission area. So you will technically be entering your material there where it says assignment materials. So the learning module section is extremely important for you. One of the other areas that, I'm not sure why that's not clicking back. There we go. One of the other areas that I've tried to identify for you are, this is just the video that you're seeing right now, is the syllabus, and that is somewhat flexible as the semester goes through, and you might see a little bit of point distribution changes, but generally it will give you the overall way that I assign grades. I do encourage you to, again, get the textbook. It's a 10th edition. Don't get 9th edition because it won't have the assignments that are going to be required for you. Makeup exams, you will see that I don't give makeup exams. If you do run into a technical aspect, please let me know as soon as possible, and I will try and accommodate you to solve that technical issue. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be learning in this class. Essentially, we're going to be taking the whole concept of wellness and the entire spectrum of wellness. And I'm going to be asking you to look at that entire spectrum and hopefully challenge you to work towards the wellness aspect in your life. We'll look a little bit about eating and exercising because, again, those are 3 major components that you need to have if you're going to be striving towards wellness. We'll look at balancing stress. The first 4 chapters are focusing on stress because that is a huge factor that plays into our overall health and wellness. You're also going to see some concepts in establishing healthy relationships and sexual health. We cover both of those because they're part of us. And then we will finish with some discussions on tobacco, alcohol, drugs, addictions, etc. And then how to make some healthy choices. Again, what you can do to make healthy choices. So that's, in a nutshell, what we'll be covering. And I just wanted to talk a little bit now about the different assignments. As you can see on this, each week is outlined. Each assignment is outlined weekly for you. So there shouldn't be any confusion as far as when your assignments are due, and then, as you can see right here, when your tests are, etc. So if you look at the assignment dates, everything is clearly outlined for you. Now let's talk a little bit about the weekly assignments that you will be having. If I am to talk about the first assignment, it is what I call a journal of gratitude. And each week you are going to be required to write a small paragraph to me. And again, this isn't seen. Some of the exercises that you see we'll be doing are going to be shared to other classmates. But this one is directly to me. And it's a confidential, and it's essentially an opportunity for you to take a look at your life at least once a week. I encourage you to do it every day, but to look at those things in your life that you are grateful for. And what my purpose in that is there is now a lot of research, and particularly up at UC Davis, they're doing a lot of research now in this area. And the whole aspect of how we look at our lives and what we choose to focus on really does help determine our health and our wellness. And so if you can take 5 minutes out of the week, even if it's just 5 minutes out of the week, and focus on those things that you really do find yourself grateful for, whether it's your family, whether it's your job, whether it's your circumstances that you have good housing, whether it's not that it's a sunny day, whether it's that you have a vacation planned, that you have an opportunity to visit and have coffee with a friend. The spectrum is wide open for those things that you can be grateful for. It's taking the time and the opportunity to look at those things and then write them down. And again, that will influence your health and wellness. So I call that the Journal of Gratitude. And you will see that listed under each one of your learning modules. And again, I list it right here and a little bit more description on what will be expected of you. You will have an opportunity in your learning module. Let me see if I can get up to that. You will have an opportunity to get up to see that. And where you enter that in. Let's go to week 2 because I do not require that in week 1. There we go. So you will see those entered in each week that you will have your assignment due to you. Okay. The second requirement that you will have is to do a chapter outline, and that I call learning objectives. And the learning objectives are a way for you to summarize all of the readings in the chapter. So you will find the learning objectives. It's usually a series of anywhere between 6 to 10 questions, and you are required to give a small response back, definition of each one of the questions, a description of each one of the questions. So you will find, you will find that in the listed under learning objectives. And you get 10 points for each learning objective section. And each chapter, at the beginning of the chapter, has those learning objectives identified. And so make sure that you get and answer those as completely as you can, because if you can do that, you will find that you are better prepared for the tests. If you just give me one-line answers, that's the depth that you're going to get with that. So I encourage you to be as complete as you can. Okay. So just in summary, we have Journal of Gratitude that is due every week. We have learning objectives that are due every week. And then you have a current event that is required every week. Now, the current event is designed to get you outside of the textbook and get you to look at those health-related aspects that are in the news, that are on the internet, that are in the dentist's office, wherever you might find information that you find interesting. And it kind of gets you in the idea of expanding your knowledge beyond the textbook. So you are required every week to come up with a current event. And again, your sources are not limited in any way. You may find them in a journal article that you're reading. So, for example, if you're reading Men's Health and you find something that's interesting, or if you are in your dentist's office and you pick up a flyer on how to floss your teeth properly and why it's important to floss your teeth, or if you're watching television even and you see a very interesting presentation that you feel would be helpful to your fellow classmates. Now, this is you submit your current event on the area that is known as a discussion board. So if we go back up to look at that, you'll find the discussion board is listed on the left side of your homepage there. And wait a minute till that comes up. And you'll see week 2, for example, and you'll create a thread and you will submit your current event in that area right there. And I ask you to be as complete as you can in your current event, making sure that you cite where you got your information from. I'm not looking for you to cut and paste the article, okay? What I'm looking for is you to give me a small description of the article that you read. And then more importantly, what I'm looking for is that you give me a, let me draw it down to this again, that you give me a summary or your opinion about the current event. So for example, if you're reading an article about chewing tobacco and how chewing tobacco has a direct link to oral cancer, and new studies that they've come out that show an increase in the number of young teenage boys that are using chewing tobacco. So you would cite that article, you would give me the location of where you got that article, and then you give me your opinion. And you might say something like, why are we still allowing chewing tobacco? Why are we still allowing tobacco when we know that it has it's a known carcinogen, and we have people that are still having capability to buy these? Or you might say, you know what, this is a free country and people are making choices about their health and their consequences. Or you might say something like, you know, we should ban tobacco altogether because it's not a free choice, because people that end up in the hospital with emphysema or with mouth cancer, it's a cost on our government and all of our... So you understand what I'm trying to say, that you give me your opinion, and I'm really not looking at one-line opinions, okay? So that is required every week, that you give me a current event. In addition, just so we have some interaction with your classmates, you must also provide a current event response. So you must read someone else's current event that they post, and you must respond to them. And you will be graded points for that. So you will receive 10 points for your current event, and you will receive 5 points for your current event response. So it's important that you respond back. And again, you want to give, it's as if you were having an in-class dialogue with that person. So a one-line response is not appropriate. So I'm really looking for you to either engage in debate or engage in discussion, and have that relationship then with one other classmate. I'm only requiring that you do one per week. But if there's something that's of great interest to you or you have a strong opinion about, please feel free to do more than one. That's absolutely fine. So every week, that's what your assignments will be, is to do a current event and a current event response. Hopefully you will find that interesting and informative. And again, my intent is that it gets you reading way beyond, and that's how you become an informed health consumer. I also encourage you to use this current event to try and correlate it to the chapters that you're reading. So if we're reading a chapter on stress, for example, try and find a current event that relates to that. It's not required, but it certainly makes it more helpful to have it tie into the class that we're discussing. The next section that I'd like to talk to you about is the testing that we will be doing. You will have 3 tests that will be posted throughout the semester. And again, you will find the testing on the learning module sections as well. So, for example, if we go up to, I believe our first test is in the, well, I'll just show you where that is. Each date will be outlined in the learning module, and you will access the test in the learning module. So, for example, here we have one, I believe. And I know it's in there somewhere. You will have the opportunity to connect to the test in the learning module section. What I encourage you to do is to pay close attention to the opening times and the closing times, particularly in the closing times, because once you start the exam, you must finish the exam. And so you can't start it and then go back to it. You must start it and finish it at the same time. And the test will close at midnight on Saturday night. So if you go in at 12:01 trying to do the test, you will not have access to that test. So I really encourage you to pay attention to the time frame. The good thing is that it is open book, and it is it's not a time test, so you don't have 1 hour to finish it and to get it done. But you want to make sure that your computer doesn't shut down or that you don't lose your entries. So what I would do is encourage you to sit down when you have a time frame that you can do it. You may, if you've done your learning objectives for each chapter, and I'd encourage you to print those out. That'll make it easier to find information that you need to find. You will also have a short essay test that is required on the third test, and you'll have an opportunity to turn that in as well through the Blackboard. So you will have 3 tests, multiple choice, true, false, I believe, and then a short essay as well. The last assignment that you have for the semester will be your research paper, and you will find that listed here on the course content page. And the research paper is a 5 to 6 page paper that is required, and you are to pick a health-related topic. So it can be anything that you are interested in. If you have questions about what your topic should be, please feel free to email me before the due date, and way before, because you won't have an opportunity to do a quality paper if you do that. But the ranges of topics have been anywhere from diabetes, breast cancer, ingrown toenails was one that was a very interesting one that students have turned in. I encourage you to make the research paper something that is personal. For example, if you have a mother or a grandmother that had breast cancer and you want to know more about that, this is a perfect opportunity to do that. If you have had a genetic diagnosis that you want to do a little bit more research on, this is a perfect opportunity again. So make this meaningful, make it something that is important to you. When you do the research paper, there are I have a rubric that I will grade you on, and so I want you to be very specific on the things that you cover. And you must give me a definition and discussion of what your topic is. And again, I'm not looking for cutting and pasting. This is all done in your own words. And don't feel, please feel comfortable in citations and quotations. That's fine. But make sure that you cite the work. You have to let me know how this disease or disorder is diagnosed or discovered. I want to find out if you know where you find out about this information, okay? The other thing that I need to know is you need to encourage or you need to research and provide me with the most up-to-date research and data on this topic. So if they are doing current research at the University of San Francisco on diabetes, I want to know what you found out, okay? You also, so you're going to have to do a little bit of library research. Medline, any one of those websites are really good. Mayo Clinic is a really good website. If you go on my homepage, I list several different websites that I think are good. If you use your text gives you endless websites that you can find continued good information about. One of the other areas that you must provide for me are statistics, and I need you to give me current statistics. So give me morbidity, mortality, what kind of issues are, how many people recover from this disease, disorder, or condition? What do you find out about race and ethnicity or nationality? You'll be amazed to find out that diseases will impact different nationalities, will impact different races, will impact different ages. And I want to know those statistics. Just a word of encouragement, the Center for Disease Control provides great statistics. So log on to that website and you'll be able to find all kinds of information. The last two components that you need to discuss in your research paper are any kinds of treatments that are available, traditional and non-traditional, need to be covered. What kind of treatments are available to me? The other area that you need to cover in this research project is any local or national resources that are available. So if I'm doing my study on breast cancer, for example, I would list as a national resource the Susan Komen Foundation. I would list the American Cancer Society. I would list the, locally I would list the Queen of the Valley because they have a breast cancer survivors group that is there. So that's what I mean when I say local and national resources. And the final thing that you need to do is give me a citation page. We use here at the college, we use the MLA format. And I know sometimes when you cut and you paste your paper, I would encourage you to write your paper as a Word document and then cut and paste it into the learning module. And I understand that sometimes the format changes, and that's fine with me. The most important thing that I'm looking for is that you make sure and you cite your work. And don't plagiarize. And trust me, I will have 17 weeks with you. I know your writing styles, etc. So please don't plagiarize. I think that that's all I need to tell you about the research paper. I would encourage you, if you're having difficulty with your research paper, to either contact me or to also come to our librarian here at Napa Valley College. They're an excellent resource. I do take my in-person class to the library to meet with the librarian to find out different sources, etc., and how to navigate our website. So I encourage you to do that as well. And hopefully you will be able to get some information there. So I think I've covered all of the areas that you need to cover for each week. again, just to summarize, each week you have a learning objective. The other thing I have not covered is you have workbook assignments. And each week you will have a workbook assignment, and it's listed. For example, in the first week, you have workbook assignment 1.4 that is due. And if you look, you'll find that outlined. So you'll see 1.4. And you will find these in your textbook. That's why it's important that you get a 10th edition textbook. They are listed in the back in the blue tabbed section. And my expectation for you to do there is to complete the assignment that is listed for each workbook assignment. And you can you don't need to copy the questions, etc., either in the learning objectives or in the workbook assignments, because I'm pretty familiar with those. But again, I'm looking for thoughtful, insightful, explorative. All of in the workbook assignments, there are no right or wrong answers, because most of them are just your opinions or your thoughts about the different exercises. They will ask you and challenge you to think about your approach to the health issue that is discussed for that chapter. So again, for each week, you will have a learning objective that will be required for each chapter. You will have a workbook assignment. You will have a current event. You will have a current event response. You will have a journal of gratitude. And you'll earn points per week. That's why I encourage you to stay on top of your assignments. There are circumstances, I do understand that, and I will take late assignments, but you will have points deducted. If you contact me ahead of time that you're running across a problem or some issue has come up, I will take that into consideration. So you will get partial points for late assignments. So I encourage you to continue to turn those in. Again, they prepare you for the test. So I hope that this orientation has been helpful to you in pointing out what the different assignments are and walking you through those. And I encourage you also to, if you have any questions, please give me a phone call as quickly as possible, or send me an email. I do require that you do not send any of your homework assignments through the college email. Only use the Blackboard because of the way the grading is. I have some difficulty in going back and forth. So it's always a good idea to submit using the Blackboard. You can check your grades, and I do. I respond almost as soon as you turn your assignments in. I'm on the computer every night. So I will try and address your entries as soon as I get them. You will get a response back from me on every assignment that you do. So look for that response. On the Journal of Gratitude, I write back to you personally. I respond to the current events as well. And on the workbook assignments, I also respond. The learning objectives, I don't respond unless you are not doing them properly. And if you get a response back from me, that's just a way for me to help you do those in a better way. So I think that you need to look for that response from me, and then you know. I also will post your grade immediately, and I encourage you to check your grades because I know you will find this hard to believe that teachers sometimes do make mistakes. But we do sometimes make mistakes, and if you find a mistake that I've made, point it out to me via an email, and I'll go back and make that grade change. So that correspondence is important. I will try and send you correspondences during the semester via a voicemail, reminding you of tests, reminding you of assignments due, and checking in on how you're doing. But again, the main way that I will communicate is to respond back to your assignments. So please look to those, and I think you'll find them insightful and helpful. So at this point, I think that's all I have to say about Health 106. I encourage you to stop by my office. I'd love to meet you in person. Um, and usually that happens at the end of the semester. People stop by, but certainly I'd love to meet you. And I'm going to get the first assignment is for you to do a small introduction of yourself. So I'll get a small introduction of of who you are. But it's always great to put a face to the name. And so I look forward to working with you this semester, and I wish you good health. Thank you.